Good morning, Foray, and welcome to our English lesson. I hope you had a really good weekend and you're ready to start back on Monday this morning. So, today we are looking at generalisers. So, generalising words or phrases, which we often refer to as generalisers, give extra information to a clause. The information they add is they either tell us how often something happens or how many of something there are. So you can see there on the side, there's a word bank for some generalisers. So we've got words like sometimes, occasionally, the minority, as a rule, in most cases. So they just add a little bit of extra information with a little bit of extra vocabulary. So let's have a look at some examples of how it works. So here's some sentences. The bits in red are the generaliser and the bits in purple are the rest of the clause. So, in most cases, children are revolting, smelly creatures. So this is telling us that not every single child is revolting and smelly, but in most cases, so most children are. Only a minority are given the honour of being in 4A. So again, this is telling us that only a small number, not nobody, not everybody, not an exact number, but only a minority of children. Mr. Alloway rarely feeds children to lions. The vast majority are fed to tigers. So again, this is giving no exact numbers, but it's telling you that I rarely feed children to lions, so I don't often do it. But the vast majority are fed for tigers, so I do that for quite a lot of children. So as you can see here, the generaliser, as we talked about last week before we went into isolation, is all about adding that extra information where you're not going to give the exact number because you probably don't know the exact number. But it gives you an idea about how many or how often it happens. So as I say, rather than adding exact information, it's those general information that are useful in a non-chronological report. So, on the next slide, here I've got some sentences, and I want you to have a look through and see if you can work out where the generalisers are. Now again, I put the word bank on the left-hand side to help you. So I'm going to give you a minute now to pause the video and have a look at it, and then think of the generalisers, and I'll start it up again. Okay, right, let's go through where the generalisers are though. So the first one, on the whole. So on the whole, ancient Egyptians admire the pharaohs. So that's telling you that not everybody admire the pharaohs, but on the whole, almost everybody, but not everybody. The next one, occasionally. Nile crocodiles occasionally munched on unlucky ancient Egyptians. So not always, just every so often, occasionally. And in the last sentence, we have got as a rule and a minority. As a rule, ancient Egyptian children spent their days naked, but a minority preferred to cover their unmentionables. So this is telling you that as a rule, so that's pretty much every single ancient Egyptian child, but not every single one, but you can't give an exact number. The minority preferred, so only a small number of the children actually preferred to cover themselves up. So you can see there how the generalisers have been used, and we can use more than one in one sentence. So in the last sentence, it's telling you as a rule is how often something has happened, and a minority is telling you how many of it's happened. Okay, so today's work then. I want you to write sentences using these three pictures, and as we've done before, if you don't want to use these pictures, you can use your own pictures, but I want you to create some grammatical sentences using generalisers. And on the next slide, I have put here all of the generalisers that we have used and that you can use in your writing. Now, I'm not expecting you to do one sentence for every single one, though you can if you want. You could have a go at playing around with sentences with more than one generaliser in them. But I want you to try and think of some generalising sentences using these generalisers, so you're not giving an exact number. You're either giving a roughly how often or a roughly how many, as if you were writing a non-chronological report. I want you to see if you can focus as if it was a non-chronological report, not a story. So imagine you're writing a report about something. I want you to try and write those sentences. Though, to be honest, the big focus is, can you actually use these correctly in a sentence? You may have seen from previous slides, you can use that at the beginning of a sentence, in the middle of a sentence. There's lots of places you can use it. Try playing around them and see how you get on. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you get on with, and have a really good Monday writing. Bye.